Hello and welcome to Experience Share. It's a Pokemon podcast starring me, Tantine.
Mantine. Straightforward.
AKA Tanner Greenring. And I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Cranidosh.
Cranidos? Cranidos.
You want it to be right. On paper, it looks good.
Cranidos.
You know? You're just adding an H to the end of the name.
Yeah.
But you have that long O. Josh.
Cranidosh.
And he's got that...
Was really what it is.
Dosh, like an umlauted O.
Yeah.
Well...
It does look really good on paper, though, so I'll still give it to you.
I do my best here, Joshua.
That's all we can do.
We play through every single Pokemon game, gym by gym, week by week, and by every single one, I mean most of them. Because we did skip Pokemon Ranger.
Yeah.
And moved directly to Pokemon Ranger 2, Shadows of Elmia.
Seems like people like this one the most, and I'm agreeing right
I'm
now.
agreeing too.
But I have nothing to compare it to, so.
Continues to be a romping good time, very JRPG. Some of the mechanics are starting to wear a little thin.
But on the other hand, I was pretty impressed with a lot of the set pieces in on the cargo ship.
I was too. There's something so good looking about these like late era 16-bit games where it's like they really mastered the 16-bit art form and like really packed those pixels in. Like,
oh yeah,
especially when you're doing shit like using a Pokemon's like world power or whatever to like slice a log or slice a vine or whatever like that,
and like hurl giant metal plates.
They just look so good.
It's great. Yeah.
All the sprites look great. They all like animate so well, except for one, which is my You Make Me Barf Pokemon, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm constantly impressed with this game. It's so fun.
It's a nice palette cleanser between what we were complaining about with the animation in Black and White, where it was very like kind of zoomed in too much.
Right.
And it looked like so many of the Pokemon could have had more
right.
pixels, and here it's just so densely packed.
It just looks great. I think the only thing I'm feeling now, and also like I told this to my wife earlier too, as I was like ignoring our child to play Pokemon.
Of course.
It's tough to pack a full game into 3 or 4 weeks like we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, usually we play at a fairly leisurely pace when we're playing these games.
Right.
But this one's like, hey, beat an entire game in 4 weeks. And it's like, okay,
yeah.
I will do my best to do that.
In the proper seasons, we have the ability to scale our commitment.
Right.
Where like you can pretty much always clear the gym, you know, within like 3 to 5 hours.
Right. The real trick is like grinding out levels.
Right. But you don't have to do that all the time.
Yeah. But I think because of that, the styler mechanic is starting to wear a little thin on me. It's just like,
sure,
it's not as gratifying as it was at the start of the game to just sit and circle Pokemon over and over again. Like I need something a little bit meatier to sink my teeth into. Like I kind of wish this game, instead of using the stylus and using the like circle mechanic, just let me do like a traditional JRPG kind of thing, which I guess what I'm describing as Pokemon.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, so you miss a little mainline Pokemon game?
I do like the circle mechanic. It's just like after a little while, it's like, okay. I like.
Well,
it's not gratifying, you know?
We do get a big upgrade after the last mission on this leg, 8.
Yeah.
For our stylus. So I think it'll make it easier.
Joshua, lots to cover this week. We ended last week in
Pueltown?
Pueltown, right. We saved Pueltown.
Spent a week there one night.
The grip of Pueltown, more like Puketown. I've spent a few nights there after some nights out drinking with you specifically.
Yeah, we've been known to do that.
We saved Pueltown from the grips of a attack by the Dim Sun
That's right.
team, Clan Dim Sun.
Dim Sun.
Who put their little Gigarimo machines all over the town. And then we reported back to the Pokemon Center, the Ranger Center.
Yeah, Vientown. That's right.
Yep.
This is the opportunity where you can do a few quests.
Yes.
You get a freebie partner Pokemon after you go to Chikol Village, where your family, your parents and then your little sister have moved.
you sort of learn about partner Pokemon. You've been given your initial partner Pokemon that you chose. Mine was, what is that little mouse's name? I've already forgotten. It's so distant.
Pachirisu?
Yeah, Pachirisu. And you chose...
I chose Starly.
Yeah. But now they've insisted on showing us how the actual mechanic of partner Pokemon works. You head to Chickhole Village and you head south. Apparently, like, there's a farm to the south of Chickhole Village that is your family's farm.
Yeah.
And it's being haunted by a ghost in a hat.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Spooky. I guess a scare warning. Scare warning.
Yeah, scare warning. Yeah, prepare to piss your pants. It's not a ghost. It's a Kricketot.
Kricketot.
And Daddy is there to explain to you that you can adopt any Pokemon you want to be your partner Pokemon. And the other Pokemon that you've adopted as partner Pokemon will live on this farm.
Yeah.
And you can come back for them anytime.
Kind of a nice throwback to, like, I remember that in the anime where Professor Oak will keep Ash's Pokemon on a farm.
I had a lot of dogs go to live on a farm growing up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of dogs growing up, and every now and then they'd just sort of go away, and my parents would always say they went to live on a farm.
They're frolicking.
And that's exactly where
they're happy there.
Your partner Pokemon all go to.
I'm sure all those dogs are still living happily up there on the farm, too.
I think they're fine.
Yeah. With this Kricketot, because that thing is never fucking leaving the farm.
No,
I'll tell you that.
it's like intentional. They're like, here's the world's worst Pokemon. We're going to introduce you to this mechanic where you can come back to this farm and like pick up your partner Pokemon wherever you want. And like, for example, here's a Kricketot. Do you want to take it now? And it's like, nope.
Why don't you scuttle away?
It is going to live and die its entire life on this farm. Absolutely no way that Kricketot is ever following me around.
No way.
Not every Pokemon you encounter is available to be your partner Pokemon, but every now and then you will encounter some kind of quest or some kind of mission where you form a special connection with a partner Pokemon that then you can adopt as your partner Pokemon. In this leg of the journey, I think we came across 3.
I think that's
There's
right.
the Kricketot, and then the one that Josh ends up adopting.
Yes.
And then the one that I end up adopting.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah, you can get the one that I ended up adopting in this same release of quests. There are 3 new ones here.
Yeah.
And this other one is in the Vienne Forest, where you find this dude who is concerned about a Cranidos that he saw being harassed by a Wartortle.
Yeah, he wants you to go save the Cranidos. I feel like I went through Vienne Forest probably 24 times looking for this damn Cranidos.
Really?
I just could not find it.
It was in a little, like, kind of a grotto, where it's like off the beaten path, and then it's just one lone tree, and there's a Wartortle chasing the Cranidos.
Just like, going in circles around it.
Yeah.
It was happenstance. Like, I searched Vienne Forest, honestly, 12 times looking for it. I even went online and I was like, where is this Cranidos? And everyone's like, oh, it's there. And it's like, well, I don't know where that is. Like, that's meaningless to me. And then, like, ran a couple missions and happened to be going back. I was, like, headed back to the school for a future mission that we're going to talk about and, like, encountered it. And I was like, well, I scoured this forest for it before and could not find it. But eventually I found it, and I ended up saving the Cranidos. But I didn't like its special partner move, so I didn't keep it.
I liked it.
I sent it to the farm.
I think it looks really fun where it runs around sort of like a velociraptor. It, like, follows you where it will, like, pause for a second and let you get ahead, and then it will, like, run quickly up to follow you, and that I thought was cute.
I do like that.
And technically, my guy is, like, you know, a bird guy. He's like, oh, raptor. That counts. But it's really just because Starly's ability sucked with the little tornadoes, and its ability is just, like, rock throw or something, and so the ability in a battle, once you have the power-up, you just sit there and you just flick rocks at the Pokemon you're trying to befriend, and you get like 20 of them, it feels like. And it's perfect for poison Pokemon that we fight. And I didn't know that going in, but they do their little, like, smog or whatever that surrounds their body, so it makes it really hard to circle them with the styler. And so Cranidos was perfect because you could just huck rocks over at it and just keep, you know, pounding it while it's secreting its oozes.
Yuck. Well, the sentence you just
Could have
said
said that in a different way.
so graphic. Just keep pounding it while it secretes its oozes.
Just bleep all that. Oops. But yeah, I like Cranidos. I'm still running it.
Yes, we make our way. We need to find our way to the Pokemon Ranger HQ on Union Road.
Ranger Union.
Oh wait, there's something with Ollie too. The villain of the last episode, this oily boy that we capture.
Yeah. Right. Ollie, right. That's the nickname we landed on.
We bring him back to his own mother in Chicole Village. So apparently he was our neighbor in a very small village. There's only 4 houses in this village. We didn't know this guy.
Couldn't make him out because of all the oil that was slathered all over his body, plus the ropes we tied him up with.
Neither he nor his mother took any issue with him being called Ollie. They're like, yeah, that's Ollie.
That's his name now.
We made that name up for him. But yeah, he turns out to have just been an innocent bystander. He's like a mule.
Yeah, that's right.
He got caught up in all of this. He was just looking for a paycheck. He did not actually know what he was doing with these Gigarimo machines.
Just following orders.
Yep. We bring him back to his mommy, and that's where we kind of learn about the farm.
Right.
But we get this call to go to the Union Ranger station. But the bridge is up, and we need to find the bridge's attendant.
Right.
Which means, Joshua, we have to charter a boat out to international waters.
Yep, because he just hucked the key.
Yeah, in some kind of panic.
A little unclear.
He threw the key off the deck.
Oops.
And we need to go underwater to get it.
Yeah.
But we have this Qui-Gon Jinn Jedi rebreather thing. You remember that from the prequels? How Qui-Gon Jinn and
I can picture it, I think.
Obi-Wan Kenobi when they're going to visit Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah. Yeah.
In Gungan City. They have little breather units.
I'll take your word for it.
Well, we have that too.
Yeah.
So we can survive underwater indefinitely. Which is pretty handy because we need that for here.
Oh, the micro aqua lung is what it's called.
The micro aqua lung.
Aqua lung.
Yeah.
Is that Jethro Tull?
No, his name is Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, okay. That's
yeah.
It. Yeah.
So we take a boat out to international waters and you dive off.
And let me say,
it's a dungeon.
I am very pleased that boats are finally a proportionate size to the sprites.
Yeah, you're on a proper boat.
First Pokemon game to do this, where, it's not your sprite taking up, a third of the whole ship. It's oh, you could get a couple of people on here and I feel like it'll float.
This could be a cool party boat.
Definitely. Yeah. And those are international waters, baby, so.
Oh, yeah.
What happens out
whatever
there?
You want out there.
Stays out there. Because of the implication.
So there's lots of cool new Pokemon down here. There's Mantikes, there's Manteens, there's Corsolas, there's Finneons, and each of them has their own overworld ability, just like the ground Pokemon up above.
Yeah, they swap out all of your landlubber Pokemon, so when you dive under, you're starting with nothing.
Right.
And you have to capture your new crew.
But once you have captured a whole crew, if you go back above water or then come back underwater, you will come back underwater with the crew you left the water with. So if you have a Mantine and a Corsola and a Finneon with you, and you go above water, next time you come back underwater, you'll have that same crew.
Right.
Each of them has the same kind of abilities as the overworld.
Yeah.
Finneon has Cut and Corsola has Crush and whatever. So you do the same thing here where you make your way through the dungeon and you're clearing obstacles and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're hunting down a Sharpedo.
Yeah, it turns out the Sharpedo has eaten and or the key's caught on it. So you have to navigate this environment and you deal with currents and your movement obviously changes because you're underwater and it's a coral reef. I will say again, this is just a beautiful set piece. There's little bubbles that animate.
It looks great.
All the Pokemon have little different ways of moving.
Almost all the Pokemon look so good under here except for one, Josh.
Oh, okay.
And it's my You Make Me Barf Pokemon of the week.
Who is it?
Staryu.
Huh.
Staryu is not a Pokemon I consider an You Make Me Barf Pokemon normally.
Right.
But I actually think I took a video of it. The sprite...
I took a couple of videos here too. Yeah, we'll have to put them on Instagram.
In this game is so... They've made a choice with Staryu in this game they decided that they would make it walk as though it had feet.
Oh, you're right.
Look at it walk around.
Yeah.
Look at it walk
now
around.
Now that I'm really looking at it
feet.
up close.
It just sort of like walks around, and it's got like a little butt, and it's got little feet, and it just looks so
Plus,
gross.
with the gem in the middle,
Just
it
so
sort of
absurd.
looks like it's sticking its pelvis out as it's like sauntering forward, very, very
saunters.
confidently.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's like, I don't think it's meant to walk. Like that's a choice that you made. What's the company that makes this game? Even it's like. Creatures or something like that?
I think so. Creatures sounds right. Creatures was involved. Creatures Inc.
Creatures Inc. What else are they responsible for?
I don't know. I'm clicking.
Let's see.
It's an affiliate of the Pokemon Company, which itself is a joint venture by Nintendo Game Freak. Oh, and Creatures.
Oh,
it was founded on November 8th, 1995 by
Earthbound.
Tsunekazu Ishihara. Oh, Ishihara! From Pokemon Trading Card Game for Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
Ishihara and Satoru Iwata.
This is the third part of the Trinity.
This is the secret partner, but perhaps the most powerful partner.
So Creatures Inc. was birthed Phoenix style from the ashes of Ape Inc., which is the company that made the Earthbound games.
Oh, interesting.
And this game, God, now that I know that, this game
that makes a ton of sense.
Feels so much like Earthbound.
Yeah. The style's very similar.
It's got the same vibe. It's got the same like style. Yeah, this is so close to an Earthbound game.
3D modeling for Pokemon Colosseum, XD Gale of Darkness. It's all coming together. We like all of these games.
Yeah. Gosh, no wonder.
Pokemon trading card game.
It felt right, like it feels like it's getting Pokemon right. And like, I don't want to say anything bad about Pokemon Colosseum or Pokemon Colosseum 2 because I liked those games a lot.
Yeah.
But they didn't feel like Pokemon games,
Right. Well, because it is this more like traditional JRPG situation.
But so is this, you know? And even though this has that JRPG feel, it still feels like a Pokemon game.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Pokemon act the way you want them to act, except for Staryu, who should not be walking on his little gross feet.
No, it shouldn't.
No. Disgusting little Staryu is my You Make Me Barf Pokemon of the Week. Other than that, everyone else down here is smooth sailing.
I didn't want to drop it just immediately, but I feel like I have to if you're talking about these smooth sailing sweeties, because there was one that really captured my heart.
Who's that?
Mantike is Joshy's sweetie.
Gosh, Mantike and Mantine both just look so good in this game.
Stunning, Mon.
Mantine is huge and majestic. Like
you ride around on it later.
Yeah, his overworld power is you ride around on him to get through the currents and the chasms.
It's so loyal.
The sprites look good. Mantike is so cute and little. He's got this little smiley face on his back.
Yeah,
which I guess that. I didn't know if he had. I didn't know he had that.
I never really noticed it because you don't see, unless you're fighting with it, where you're seeing its back. Its sprite is usually not really revealing the back.
Right.
But on the back, it's got two little circles, like eyes, and then a curved line like a smile. And so when it's in its natural environment in this deep sea, they'll float around kind of vertically. So it's making this face like what a butterfly would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool.
It's cute.
And
it's cute.
It's again very thoughtful environment design and how the Pokemon would interact with their natural environment.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
So then you need to kind of solve all the puzzles and destroy all the logs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you get to this big crevice eventually, the Mariana Trench.
Yeah, the chasm. It's like an abyss.
Mantine to float you over it,
right.
Which you then have to navigate that for a while, and it's just a black abyss until you make it to another part of the undersea area. And that's where you spy a Sharpedo, and then you're on the chase trying to find this thing.
Yeah, so once you've encountered the Sharpedo's area, you've discovered that it has swallowed the key that you need to lower the bridge. So you have to chase it, which is a pretty annoying
oh my god
bit.
It was
because you have to hit these jet streams and then
because it's fast as hell.
Manage to maneuver and when you're underwater, it's got this slight ice mechanic where it's there's some acceleration and deceleration. Like, you don't just stop right away. You kind of like slow down before you stop.
Right.
And you kind of need to like, mash your thumbstick just to go in the direction you want to go. And while you're doing that, you're also slipping through jet streams trying to chase the Sharpedo. And every now and then they'll like throw a tricky jet stream in you that's going the wrong way that just like sort of shoots you out of the puzzle.
So you have to memorize the exact path and then like really nail all of the like turns so that you basically do like a 180 hitting all these jet streams, and then you have to avoid one right above that would send you the opposite way, and then go back down and like do it again. And then after like, I don't know, 2 or 3, like nailing it,
or 5
you
or
can
10.
finally. I'm sure I'm underestimating, and it was way more than that. You could finally intercept the Sharpedo.
And then you battle it, of course, and get the key, and then go back and deliver the key to Brooke, I think his name was.
Yep.
The guy who runs the drawbridge. But then before we go up to Union Road and the Union Station Ranger Center, there's a couple quests.
Oh, yeah.
In this area, and one of them in particular is to just go and do exactly what you just did.
Oh my god.
Except this time you're trying to catch a
Luminion.
What's it called? Luminion?
The evolved
which
form
is
of
the
Finion.
Finion evolution.
Yeah.
And
Jesus
you go through
Christ.
the entire underwater dungeon. You make your way back to that same kind of like water jet puzzle. And of course, that's where Luminion is.
That was so infuriating to like do that and then just
And the
basically
Sharpedo is
immediately
there
had
too,
to do
still.
it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
I accidentally, when I finally got to the Luminion, I like go up to it and then the Sharpedo is basically stacked on it. So I had to fight the Sharpedo again and then get the Luminion.
It was such a pain in the ass.
And it also reminds me, speaking of videos, I took one because when I was playing this quest specifically, I had the sound on. Mm-hmm. And Finians make the funniest sound when you run up to them. See if this will get picked up.
It sounds like a ghastly. Or like a haunter. It's sort of scary.
Yeah.
It's a sinister laugh.
I know. It's such. I was like, that is probably the very last sound I would have picked for a Finian to make. They seem so like
they're so
chill
elegant.
and lovely, and then it's like this
Yeah.
spooky kind of like sinister
Ghastly laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's not for me.
no, I didn't like that.
We're done here in the underwater grotto, and we've delivered the key, and the bridge is lowered.
Yeah.
The most immediate thing just north of Pueltown is a big park called Altru Park.
Yes.
There's not much that's notable in Altru Park. It's just sort of a big park. There's a few people here. None of the people in this game have anything interesting to say.
It's made me get over my thing where I have to talk to anyone and everyone, because now that you know when
Someone has
they
a quest.
have a quest, they'll have a
Yeah.
little question mark above them. So now I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk to you unless you look particularly interesting.
I mean, a lot of them say some pretty weird shit.
They say definitely weirder and funnier things than they do in the mainline games, I'll say.
But they're not useful.
And now that we know it's creatures, that makes sense.
And they don't give you anything, and there's no, like,
Right. You don't get random
trade
items.
me your Cranidos for whatever, like, there's nothing along those lines. So this whole Altru Park part is pretty boring. Most of the people are just talking about Altru.
Altru Inc., which is
The new megacorp.
the Altru building sits at the end of this. Yeah. The new corporation enters the stage.
If you go left, it's Union Road, which takes you to the Ranger Union. If you go north, you go to the Altru building, which is mostly off limits to you at this point. It's a lot of Altru propaganda. It's people telling you how great Altru is.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have a good enough sense for Altru as a company or what they produce or how they're helping me or what service they provide to me
Not yet.
to really put it within the power rankings of megacorps yet.
Yeah, we can't rank it, but Bugcatchers, stay tuned.
I assume we'll make our way back here at some point.
I don't think they could build such a
Elaborate,
big set
like
piece without...
3-screen set piece.
Right. Yeah, the garden... The park is like giant on its own, and then the building, you can only enter the first floor, I think, and like you meet
Right.
the Murph is the Ranger Union PR guy.
Yeah, and he joins
And,
you.
He kind of gives you a brief tour.
You see some portraits on the wall of the founder and the founder's son and the founder's son's son, who's the current like president of Altru.
Blake Hall. Yeah.
And he's got bad vibes around him.
Definitely.
You know? There's something stinky about him.
Well, he's a corporate fat cat, and don't they all?
I'll tell you what, the last guy I felt had stinky vibes on him.
Who?
Turned out to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that at the end of this.
Oh, interesting.
At the end of this episode.
Then you head west through the Union Road.
Union Road, I felt like was a pretty good route.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's grasslands and woods. There's like a cabin. There's a little like water feature.
Oh, there's lots of fun little Pokemon.
Oh, but yeah, Pineco's will like fall on you randomly or try to fall on you. And then there's like, the explosion animation is dynamite.
So good.
Voltorbs
It like takes
also
up like a quarter of the screen.
Yeah, it's really fun. It looks like a little miniature, like Command and Conquer, that old like 90s RTS. Yeah, it had a great like nuclear explosion or like bomb animation, and it reminds me of that where it's pixelated, but like it looks good.
It looks really good. It surprised me every time to see this like giant explosion on the screen.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch.
There's also some other little cuties here. There's Badoos, and there's Floatzels, and there's Oddishes.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you make your way to the Ranger Union.
Yeah, you go to Ranger Union. You had been summoned there by Professor Hastings, who I think we couldn't remember in the first episode. He's the professor in this one. And he has invited you because they've finally been able to study the Gigarimo. And that's where they've like started analyzing it, and you meet Chairperson Erma,
right?
Who's the head of the Ranger
Everyone's
Union.
Concerned with her health.
Yeah,
and I don't know if she's unwell or what, but
they are all old.
Yeah,
so I hope she pulls through.
Yeah, I obviously hope so too.
She seemed lovely, and I'll also say, like, I don't want to wax too poetic about this, but I really love that Chairperson Erma's like control room, because it's like her and Professor Hastings, and then the like Gigarimo's there, and they're standing over like, kind of like, again, like a 90s movie, like all dark green and light green, like outline of like Almia, I presume. And then it's got the little like radars and like little...
It's like a situation room.
Yeah, it's a situation room.
Yeah.
And it just looks
great.
The
whole ground is just a map of Almia. Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it's cool.
You have to answer some questions to like, prove your mettle. And
I got them all right.
They send you on the next mission.
Right. And then you head out with what's his face? Barlow.
Yeah.
And as you're leaving the Union, a big earthquake happens. And everyone in the little valley here on Union Road are panicked around the earthquake, and they said, surely it's coming from the cliffs.
Yeah.
So make your way to
Peril Cliffs.
Peril Cliffs.
Sounds safe. Sounds fun.
Sounds perilous.
Yeah.
Joshua, what befell you at Peril Cliffs? Tell me.
Oh, what didn't?
After this break.
Yeah.
Peril Cliffs. Welcome back, Joshua. Welcome back. Bug catchers.
Welcome to Peril.
They actually are pretty perilous because of one little Pokemon.
Oh my god.
Called Gligar.
I did not expect their behavior until it was too late.
It's the same mechanic as in Ocarina of Time when you're climbing up the vine walls. And the Skulltulas bonk you and knock you off the wall, and you like fall down.
You flash red and fall down.
Oh, yeah, you don't take any fall damage in this game, but it's like such a pain in the butt to have to like climb back up. And like the Gligar tail strike that it does is essentially unavoidable.
Yeah, if they detect you and you can't move quickly enough, which is very difficult.
It's so hard to dodge.
Like you have to start over. Or if you're lucky, you'll hit a lower ledge. But the whole premise of the Peril Cliffs is you're trying to make it to the top, or you're trying to make it to the bottom, but in order to get to the bottom, of course, you have to go all the way to the top and around.
Right, exactly.
And investigate where this big earthquake came from. And you're climbing vines the whole time.
Yep.
And there's Staravias here, and they have cut, so you can use them like to unfurl vines that'll be there that you need to like lower.
Yeah, you got to kind of keep your eyes peeled for these dangly little vines that you can cut to turn into like a rope you can climb up.
The worst part when you have to kind of go over the top of it to get over to the right side, which you then go down to get to the bottom, is like 3 or 4 Glygars are all there, and They're just like gliding around. You have to kind of avoid their gaze, but they'll move kind of haphazardly.
You gotta give them a wide berth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you stay in their range for like, I don't know, a second, they just charge at you.
They're on you.
And then you gotta do it all again.
They're on you like stink on shit.
This was, again, a while.
Yeah, but eventually you can make your way down to the bottom of the cliffs where you discover that Team Dim Sun
Got you again.
have developed the Gigaremo Mark II.
Gigaremo Mini. I think it's just
The Gigaremo Mini.
Mini Remo, I think.
Yeah, it's called the Mini Remo. You're right.
Yeah. It's the sleek new, sister line to the Gigaremo.
No longer are we using the Gigaremo, which sort of has an area of effect spell on these Pokemon where it drives every Pokemon in the area wild.
It needs 4 grown men or 1 Big Bertha to move it.
Big Bertha came to the Pokemon Center this week and was like, I brought everyone my famous milk pudding. And everyone was like, yum, can't wait to eat it. And I was like, I will pass. Thank you, Big Bertha. I do not want any of your yummy milk pudding.
I asked her whose milk, and she said, whose milk isn't it?
That's the secret. I'll tell you this, they definitely consented.
A little thing I like to call you'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. I always like to play this game with my friend and other co-host, Jack, who's a lifelong militant vegan.
Yeah.
Where I try to just get to the bottom of what he will eat. And at one point we agreed that if an adult woman consented to giving her breast milk to Jack to turn into cheese, he would eat that cheese.
Wow.
He would make and eat a grilled cheese with it. And we were going to do content around it for a website that we all used to work at. But it turns out that you can't turn...
That would have been your last post.
You can't turn human breast milk into cheese. It doesn't work.
Really?
Yeah, there's something...
Well, why? Something with the enzymes?
Like some missing protein or something like that. Yeah. You have to cut it with cow's milk to turn it into cheese. And then it's no longer vegan because the cow didn't consent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
That's a fortunate loophole, I'd say, for Jack on that one.
I don't know. Could have been interesting.
Yeah.
This is human cheese.
Oh, I'm sure that there's an audience for that content. There always is.
So anyway, the Mini Remo is the new kind of Remo machine. It doesn't do area of effect. Instead, it's like a little laptop on a stand that Team Dim Sun can deploy to target individual Pokemon.
Or like
1
up
to
to
4 Pokemon at a time.
Yeah.
You've encountered this now. At the bottom of the cliff, there is a member of Team Dim Sun who has a couple of
Rampardoses?
Rampardoses. Yeah. Under his thrall.
And they're like ramming a part in the cliff trying to like make a hole in it.
He's like, oh, my tunnel project is foiled. It's like, what are you digging a tunnel for?
Yeah, he's like, I'm a geologist and I'm looking for some rocks and minerals. And then I think Barlow's like, oh yeah? What kind of rocks and minerals do they have here? And he's like, geodes? And then like the other thing I think is fun with the little animations of the overworld is that anytime someone is panicking, it does the 2 little like sweat beads that like shoot off each side of their face. So that starts happening to this guy, and he gives up the ghost and gives up the Ghastly, and he's like, all right, fuck it, I'm part of Team Din Sun.
And then these Rampardoses
he sicks them on you,
come at you. And Barlow tries to warn you as you're headed into this area. He's like, oh, we're probably going to have to battle those Rampardoses.
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you ready?
So you can say no. There's a save point nearby.
The first time I was like, yes, I'm ready. I'm not a fucking child. And the Rampardoses.
Oh my God.
Ate my bottom.
Yeah.
Annihilated.
Devastating.
It's my one and only death that I've racked up in this game.
Really impressive. I can't remember. I feel like I died like at least once, if not twice, previously in the previous episode, and I died twice here.
They destroy you. It's like cool. Your styler will like disintegrate when you die. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like you're not dying. Your styler is just broken, and that's like your badge of honor. So like you're kicked out of the Rangers if your styler breaks.
I had to try a couple of combos because all the Mon around here have different abilities that might be useful.
Barlow warns you. He's like, what's good against these Rampardoses is fighting type, steel type, and ground type.
Yeah.
And this whole area is just filled with them. So I went out and I picked up a couple of Aarons.
Me too. I had 2 of them.
Who have this like steel bubble ability.
Yeah, that you like charge it and then it like
you can do a bunch of little circles to make the bubble really big,
Yeah.
and then you flick the bubble at the bad guys and it slows them down. And then Mankey.
Oh, Mankey's good.
Mankey is great here.
It kind of, I think it just doubles your power.
Yeah, you just become like a machine.
Yeah.
And then there's also Magnemites here, which do double the healing of Pichus,
Yeah.
which we previously encountered. So they do 10 amount of healing.
That was my team also. 2 Aarons, well, Magnemite and a Mankey. That's how I beat him.
Yeah, me too. I think that's the trick.
Yeah.
And then Barlow obviously takes on the other one, so you only have to fight one. And then once they're done, so every time you defeat some of these Pokemon under the thrall of a mini Remo machine, the mini Remo machine then explodes.
Right. So not super sustainable. Maybe they'll make
resource intensive
Mini Remo 2.
Yeah.
But this first one, yeah, I mean, they're tearing through these fucking things.
Yeah. That's the end of Peril Cliffs. But on your way out, Marlowe decides to kind of level you up.
Yeah.
You're ranked up to rank 4. And one of the perks, the main perk of being ranked up to level 4 is we now have access to Dodos.
Yeah. Chocobos is exactly right. Yeah, they are Doduos.
You can now, there are now, suspiciously, where there were none before, there are now Doduos everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can capture them with your styler, and their overworld ability is that you can ride them.
Yeah. And they're so gangly.
You can just sort of tear across the map.
They're super fast. So they're like, the running shoes / bike in this game.
Except like on steroids.
Oh, it's
like
so fast.
You can clear the entire map in no time.
Which is great, because this was around when it was like, oh my god, you're telling me I have to go back to Vientown?
So you've beaten this mission where you've gotten to the bottom of what Team Dim Sun is up to at Peril Cliffs, and then they're like, okay, great. The next mission is you have to go teach a class at the ranger school that you graduated from. And it's like, okay, well, that's on the other side of the map. You want me to run across the map? And they're like, yeah, you have Doduo now.
Yeah.
Go for it.
You can also do a few quests along the way.
Yep.
I think there's 7 quests here.
Yeah, all of these quests are like fetch quests. I mean, they're fun. They're not like, they don't feel like a chore.
No, they're all quick hits. I mean, one of them is like Brooke again, the bridge operator.
Right.
He just wants you to go like
say hi to his grandmother.
Yeah, because he can't leave his duty. And this one, I was like, oh, I wrote this whole thing down because I was like, oh, I feel like maybe this is going to give us some lore, like foreshadowing for the rest of the game. And you tell me if you think this means anything.
Okay.
You go to her house.
Yep.
And she tells you a folk tale about how Almia used to be ruled by a king who had 3 large adult sons, 3 princes.
1, 2, 3 princes stand before you.
Yeah, I prefer my princes to be a 2.
Yeah.
These 3 princes were too rowdy, and he couldn't give them the kingdom because he didn't trust them. So instead, he banished them. And the eldest, who wore red, went to a volcanic land, and then the second, in fineries of yellow, went to the desert. Mm-hmm. And then he decided that the young prince in blue was allowed to stay as long as he could control himself. But then the king was racked with guilt, and then the kingdom descended into darkness, and then the old woman says she forgot the story. So
what?
I was like, am I going to get the rest of this story somehow? And is the volcanic land Boyleland, which we're going to soon? Does this mean anything, or are you just pulling my leg, lady?
Here's what I'm thinking. And I can't quite remember the colors of the 3 sages attached to the 3 corners of the Triforce.
Oh.
But were they possibly
green, red,
blue, green, and yellow? Or red?
Isn't it green, red, blue?
I don't remember.
I know. It's like you're talking about 3 princes. Nintendo loves this kind of trifecta shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Are they tying this to the Zelda mythology?
Maybe this will come back up.
Now the Zelda mythology is so much more complicated because it turns out it takes place in the same universe as Pokemon.
Oh, this is on Bulbapedia, actually. I got the last part wrong. It's that the last child claimed the castle as his home after the eldest princes were gone. So the one who is in blue.
Okay.
And the king was racked by anger, solitude, and bitter guilt. And the darkness in his heart summoned forth the darkness in the world. Okay, so mostly right.
That's also very Zelda-like.
But then we don't get the rest of it. Oh, there is going to be more. Okay. I'm not going to go into it. There will be more. I'm excited about that, actually. I'm glad that I got that down.
Okay.
Keep your ears open for that.
And this is why you got to do the quests if you're playing along, which I don't think anyone is. You got to do these quests because you end up finding shit like this.
Might get a little lore out of it.
Yep.
But that's all I got for those quests. After you do all that, you make your way to the ranger school, your old stomping grounds, and you have to teach that outdoor class that everyone loves, where the students grill you with questions, and you wow them.
You know, I thought this was going to be harder.
Me too.
When I showed up and they're like, it's going to be a Q&A, I thought, oh, they're going to like quiz me on Pokemon. I'm going to have to know a bunch of Pokemon knowledge. And then it was all like, who do you love?
Right.
Is it fun being a ranger? It's like, I guess so. And they still make you answer the questions. Like it pulls up a prompt on your screen and you're like, yes, it is fun being a ranger.
Yeah, I don't think you can get it wrong or right. But, you know, yeah, I wanted to inspire the children, so I said,
yeah, I still try to give them what I thought they wanted.
Chairperson Erma's not sick. She's good. Yeah. One of the questions is about that. I was like, no, she's in great health.
She's in good health.
Everything's fine. Next question.
Yeah.
Also, this is where you get Krogunk.
You're right.
On your way to Ranger School, I forgot about this. That's where you're on the bridge, and then you run into some dim sum dudes.
Yes. So, yes, you're on the bridge, and there are some brigantines here who try to stop you. And in the process of doing that, you manage to make off with their Krogunk, which is the partner Pokemon that I've decided to keep on my team.
That's your new pal.
From now on, yeah. He's got some cool moves. He's got poison. He's a poison type, and he does little poisons.
Does he do the, like, poison pools?
The pools, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
So I have a Krogunk who follows me around and sings little happy tunes.
Yeah, Mike Cranidos is doing that too. I don't know
what
it's
it
about.
means.
No one's explaining it, and I don't want to look it up.
It's honestly kind of annoying. It's like
it takes up all the
There's
screen.
a lot of little notes on the screen. Like they're distracting.
I get it, buddy. Like you love me and you're having a good time or whatever, but like tone it down.
As you are teaching your outdoor class,
Dim Sun shows up because it's those two who we liberated the Krogunk from.
Yes.
And they're here to teach you and these little kids a lesson.
These younglings.
I feel like the implication is actually Rangers are probably like college age because...
Like adolescent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were just in Ranger school.
Right. I think it's like, you know, it's secondary school or something.
Right.
I think we're, you know, late teens, early 20s kind of a thing.
It's for people who are like too lazy or scared to go out and be a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm going to stay in school. You know, I'm going to become a ranger or an operator.
The nerds.
So yeah, and then you defeat these clowns.
They have Carnivines, which were
two
terrifying.
So ugly.
With their googly eyes, like literally just floating all like Cthulhu style all across the screen.
Except it's one of the easiest battles because both the Carnivines clump up and you can circle both.
Yeah,
of them
you
at
just
once.
fucking mock circle them, and it was no trouble at all. They just look dumb.
And then they fuck off.
Yeah, and you head back to Ranger Base in
Head back to Ranger Base. Barlow's like, let's hit the... Not Barlow. What's the other guy's name?
Crawford.
Crawford's like, let's hit the hay. And when you wake up in the morning, you've learned that Barlow has disappeared in Boyleland volcano. And everyone is a little worried that he's been
incinerated,
burnt up by lava.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So it's now our job to head to Boyleland volcano to find him.
Yeah.
Recover his corpse.
Go find his charred remains.
Yeah.
You charter another ship over at Pueltown.
Yep.
The SS Boyle, which is captained by Captain Boyle.
Right.
And we're going to Boyleland.
Boyleland.
It's like a lot of...
So I guess he discovered
nepotism much? Or narcissism?
Discovered this volcanic island.
Yeah.
Which is pretty built up. So it's not like he discovered a deserted island somewhere. You know, it's robust.
He's an imperialist pig.
As you're journeying over, Captain Boyle draws your attention to a very rare sight, Josh. It's a real honor to be able to see this.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
it's the migration of the
Drifloons. Yeah. Yeah, it pauses for a second at the open sea, and then you see what they claim are some very, beautiful Drifloons making their annual, migration.
They want this to be a moment. like they draw attention. They're like, yes, here it is, the Drifblooms.
Yeah.
But it's like, gross.
Right.
They're all pretty gross looking.
I know. I had my Cranidos start hurling rocks at them.
But they do play an important part.
Popped a couple of them.
In this next little leg.
They have a cool mechanic, I'll admit, yeah.
Once you reach Boyleland, it is a volcano. There's lava everywhere. There's a lot of fire Pokemon here, Magmars and Slugma.
Charmanders.
Yep.
Pikachu's, finally.
And Pikachus, which do triple the healing power.
Pikachus are where it's at.
Pichu. Man, get 2 Pikachus on your team and you're like set on healing.
I frequently did.
But then you can also capture Drifblooms, who have an overworld ability to carry you across lava chasms on
like vents.
on like heat vents.
Yeah.
Which you use to kind of navigate the maze of this map and make your way to the top of Boyleland Volcano, where there is a hidden base.
This is where I started getting impressed, where I was like, I'm worried we're just going to be, crushing rocks or breaking crates or whatever, but you've got the Drifloons that float you over heat vents.
Yep.
You have to get a Shuppet at one point who can use Psy Wave or something to open up like hidden doors. So that's what I was saying earlier. I think it's pretty inventive with the overworld abilities.
It's pretty gratifying at times, like it's pretty gratifying to like go and get all the Pokemon you need. Like at one point you take a Drifbloom over a vent and then you discover that there's another vent on the other side and it's like, well, I just used my Drifbloom, so I'm going to have to go backtrack.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun to build the exact team you need to kind of get across.
Yeah.
And my teams always inevitably have at least one Pikachu.
Definitely.
And then I was holding on to Drifblooms way longer than I needed to. Like I was in Team Dim Sun's secret base and still had a Drifbloom on me. And it took forever to finally be like, okay, I guess I don't need this anymore.
Yeah, you kind of want to keep some of them as like a safety.
So yeah, there's plenty of cool Pokemon here. Eventually you make your way into a secret base hidden inside of Boyleland Volcano.
Mm-hmm.
That is a Dim Sun base where Barlow has been taken.
Right.
It's a harbor too. There's a boat here.
A big cargo ship that they are hiding inside a volcano base.
They make you get all Metal Gear Solid, like Solid Snake on them.
Oh my god, yeah, this is very unexpected.
At one point, there's a little bit of a cutscene where they're like, okay, the boat is leaving in 2 minutes. Finish up all your business and let's go.
Yeah, after they've loaded all of the Pokemon on it, like Noah's Ark style, it's like pairs of mind-controlled Pokemon.
Right. But they're like, there's a ranger on the loose. If you see the ranger, kick him out. And then you have 2 minutes to like do this like it's you know what it is? It's again Ocarina of Time, that like
the Hyrule
castle courtyard puzzle
maze. Yeah.
Where the guards are like walking in circles and you kind of need to just sort of like stay out of their cone of vision.
Gotta quickly memorize their pathing so that you can scurry up there in 2 minutes.
I appreciate them adding a new fun little challenge and mechanic to it. I literally beat it in 20 seconds.
Yeah, we are...
The clock read 1:38 by the time I got up there.
Plus the target demographic, probably, of this game. But good job, Tanner.
Thank you.
Pat yourself on the back for that one.
And then, so yeah, you get on the boat. Or they try to kick you off the boat again, but then you get on anyway.
Yeah, you have to fight a couple of, like...
clowns.
Machokes, I think, once you get on there. But after you capture them, they're like, uh-oh, gotta go tell the boss.
The second you're on the boat, you get a big piece of foreshadowing, which is that there's this big plug called the Kingston plug. I don't know why.
Kingston Valve.
The Kingston Valve.
Like this named thing.
And then a couple of cronies are like, well, if you take that out, the boat would sink, and you're going to need a Machop.
Yo, it needs something real strong to close that.
To put it back in place. And
that's
I was like, okay.
I don't know that you
keep that in mind.
First of all, I wouldn't have designed a ship to have a big plug at the bottom of it that can just make the whole thing sink.
It. Yeah.
And then if I were going to do that, because it's obviously some sort of like fail safe, like, fuck it, like we're screwed, like destroy the evidence thing, then I probably wouldn't have put the Pokemon on it that have the ability that could stop it from sinking the ship. But I'm no criminal mastermind, so
clearly,
I'm sure there's some reason for all of this.
So then you make your way through this boat. It's like a Team Rocket headquarters sort of thing where there's like conveyor belts that carry you around.
Yeah.
You've also been given the task of now I'm having so much trouble remembering who
Oh,
it
it's
was,
it's in the Boyleland village where
Yeah,
you have
there's
to
a
get
little
permission
village.
from the elder to go into the volcano.
But he's distraught
Yeah, exactly.
because his mime junior has been taken.
Right.
He's been influenced by mind control and has been taken by Dim Sun. So at some point you're working your way through this boat and you encounter the Mime Junior. And then the Mime Junior kind of becomes your buddy and he guides you through the rest of the level.
Yeah, and I'll say it grew on me a little bit.
The Mime
Still
Junior.
ugly, but it's so small you can't really tell, and it
Yeah,
kind of just
you can't-
scurries
you can't
around.
hate it. And the sprite looks kind of good.
It's kind of good at this, I'll admit.
Yeah.
And it's your ally here.
Well, and there's some other Pokemon down here. There's
Monferno, that one was useful.
Monferno's useful. There's Houndooms, which are not useful.
Drowsy.
Every now and then they'll just throw a Pokemon at you that has like level 1 tackle, and you're just like, oh, this is trash.
Right, that's useless at this
This
point.
is here as filler. Yeah. And then there's some Spinneracks as well.
And the Spinnerack,
What?
now that you mentioned it, I would be remiss to not mention how when you have to capture them, they use String Shot, and it looks like a cum shot. And there's just really no way around it.
All right, Josh, if you say so, here we go.
It's like
God, it's been
Creatures
so long.
Inc. is willing to steer into it, where everyone
I got
kind
a new
of
computer
knew,
since last time. They're not even going to recognize me.
everyone kind of knew String Shot. You know, we know what that means, you know? But Creatures Inc. and Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Almia was like, you know what, let's just put that rumor to bed.
Furaffinity.net Spinnerack.
You're trying to do a fur affinity check with Spinnerack?
Yeah, you essentially dared me to.
I guess I did.
Oh, God. Oh, God. This one's pretty sexy.
What is a sexy Spinnerack?
I'm sending it to you now, and you can see.
I'd like to see.
It's like uwu. It's cute.
Oh,
It's got big thighs.
okay. That sounds kind of interesting.
That's sort of the best one, and then it's just a bunch of like it's always the same with Fur Affinity, and
That's
like
why we don't really do it anymore.
I'm not yucking yums. If your thing is like watching a Spinnerack eat somebody and vor them down, like fine, I don't care, you know. But like,
Yeah, I'd expect that.
why is it just that? You know, why is it always just that?
This one that you sent me with the Spinnerack bearing hips,
It's always diapers and vor, except this one.
kind of voluptuous and
It's kind of a
little
bit of a
bow.
kind of a sexy Spinnerack, huh?
Yeah, I kind of like it for what it is.
Yeah, that's kind of cute. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not a lot to work with.
Yeah, the Spinnerack search on for affinity does not net a lot of super sexy results.
Here's a boy turning into a Spinnerack.
Okay, tell me about it.
I don't think it's sexy though.
Oh God, you know what that reminds me of?
No. How could I ever know what that reminds you of?
There was, God, am I going to be able to find this? There was a sort of meme image going around Tumblr, like I would say 10 years ago,
Okay.
of a guy. It's like a photo series of a guy slowly turning
into
Charmander.
Charizard. Oh,
Charizard,
yeah.
right?
That's a classic.
That's what this picture of this guy turning into the Spinnerack reminds
That's
me of.
easy to find. I already found it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on
God,
Reddit.
he looks. What a good job he did too, huh?
It's a tasteful, well done photo series of a man
It looks like it hurts.
just taking a selfie, and then he suddenly turns into a Charizard.
He's like doubling over.
I know.
Like it hurts.
Like, does he want this? One way or another, he's Charizard now.
It's happening. It's happening.
We'll share that on our socials if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, we'll probably share these sexy pictures of Spinnerack too.
Yeah, I think the voluptuous one. We'll put that kind of stuff on the subreddit, you know.
Yeah.
That's for the freaks on the subreddit.
You rescue Barlow. He's tied up in here. You need to catch an Electabuzz to use Flash to light up the room. That's a weak premise.
Yeah.
You like find Barlow and you're in the room and he's like, well, you're not going to be able to see well enough to untie me, so you'll have to go catch an Electabuzz. And it's like, okay.
I did like the engine room is powered by 2 Electabuzz in like hamster wheels.
Yeah.
Just running around in a wheel. It's like pretty good.
Then you let Barlow out, and the last little bit of shenanigans is that you discover that Mr. Kincaid,
He's behind it
sort
all.
of strict, no-nonsense teacher from the Pokemon Ranger School, is the head honcho.
He comes out of the captain's quarters and he goes, "Oh, I hope you haven't been running in the ship's hallways," because that's his thing, is preventing people from running in the hallways.
Yeah.
And then he does a little twirl and he reveals a little outfit where he has a cape, which is interesting.
Oh, okay. You think he's bi?
Yeah, but I don't think we want him in our community, you know?
What, you're claiming that you're bisexual now?
We're all in the community.
I've known you a long time,
LGBTQ
Josh.
plus community.
You're right. Okay.
G and B are right next to each other.
LGBTQA for ally, and that's me.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's kind of fading out of it, but
I'm here to pull my weight.
you're an ally, yeah. And you're calling out someone in the preceding letters community about how I identify and who I identify in the community.
That's what allies are for.
Mr. Kincaid is unfortunately part of the community.
Yeah, and he's got there's a Drapion here, and you wanna, like, Barlow's
There's
very
a few
like,
waves.
Yeah, Barlow's very horny for this Drapion. He wants to catch it, but then Barlow's dang styler breaks.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, he lost this stupid thing. You found it in the volcano, and you brought it back to him, and then he breaks it immediately. So
And
you
you're
have
like
to catch.
fending off fucking Rhyhorns and Stunkies. And then every time you defeat a wave of henchmen, they're like, "I'm too scared by Mr. Kincaid, so I'm just going to jump and swim away."
Right.
So like 16 people jump into the sea.
They probably die.
Yeah. And then you finally have to clean up Barlow's mess and take on this Drapion.
Which is a battle.
Fucking, this whole thing was... That, I mean,
You were-
the rest
You
was
were
easy. but-
twirling your stylus on this thing.
Oh my god. It's got the smog move. It's got, like, I don't know, poison sting or sludge or something that, like, cascades across the screen. And it's got 1 trillion hit points.
Yeah, it's a hoss. It's a big battle.
I think I had 2 Pikachus and then maybe a Monferno at this point and a Drowsy. Drowsy was super effective, so that was good.
I picked up a couple of Drowsies. I had 2 Pikachus, 2 Drowsies, because the Drowsy is the way to go with this thing.
Yeah.
I know none of you are playing along. You all keep tweeting at us to be like, "I'm not playing Ranger." It's like, okay, fine.
Well, we're just, we're having a good time. And
you should. You should play it. It's really fun.
yeah.
But yeah, if you're going to take on Drapion, Drowsy's the way to go.
Yeah, I beat him first try, but I was like, I think I had maybe 5 or 6 hit points, so 1 hit, because each hit he does like 10 damage, maybe 8.
Yeah, it's huge. He wallops you. And he moves so fast that it's like, you can't just, like, the strategy behind this game is like, when they throw up their little, like, alert, it means they're going to attack, and then you stop circling.
Right.
But he attacks so much and so fast that it's like, you can't, it's so hard to stop circling, you know?
In order to like not start losing the progress on the meter that you've already made, which starts draining if you wait too long to circle again,
Right.
you have to just figure out how to like quickly squeeze in 1 circle while he's doing,
Yeah, just to keep
whatever
it up.
move.
Yeah, he's so tough.
Yeah, this was tough. I was pleased that I managed to pull it off with a sliver of health, and at the end, I got a perfect score, like the S, but I got the like 100 plus loops, because it will tell you like kind of little achievements.
Yeah.
100 plus loops, narrow capture, I think, because I almost died, and then I leveled up twice, because it was like 1600 experience.
Yeah, I think I leveled up twice, too.
First try as well?
Yep.
Nicely done.
Weirdly, this did not present the same challenge that those 2
Rampardos.
Rampardos did, but...
Yeah.
And then you've saved the day, you've rescued Barlow, you've foiled Kincaid, and you've gained another rank.
But of course, he has his minions open up that Kingston valve.
Yep, and then you
Because they're like, we can't, there's too much evidence here. Can't let everyone figure out this plot.
So Barlow decides to go take the wheel. Barlow take the wheel.
Yeah.
And then your job is to go and close up that Kingston valve. So grab yourself a Machoke, get down there.
Yeah. You flee down to the bottom, kind of like fleeing the
Yeah.
Hyrule Castle that's getting destroyed at the end of Ocarina of Time, just to finish that comparison. But you have 4 minutes, so
It gives you a timer again.
plenty of time.
Once again, it's like, okay, this took me 30 seconds
Yeah.
to get down here.
And then you just get him a choke, and
Yep.
he hurls the big manhole cover onto that Kingston valve.
Yep.
and crash the whole ship onto a beachhead, which happens to be Ascension Square, I think, at the Ranger School.
So that's it. That's the leg of the journey that we went on this week.
Yeah.
We are tearing through this game at a clip. There's only 16 missions. We're halfway through now. I know we make it sound light and fun, but it is a tremendous amount of Pokemon playing.
It's pretty grueling
each week.
Yeah.
But it's honestly like very fun. I know we keep saying that, but it's like I'm surprised by how much I like this game. Like I'm usually pretty like excited to pick it up and play it for a little while.
Yeah, me too.
Joshua.
Yes, you.
What is your level?
Oh, level check. A quick level check.
Let's do a level check.
It's nice when the level checks are about a minute long. I'm level Gallass, I should say. Ire is level 19 and rank 5.
Oh, okay. Tokio Hotel is level 20 and rank 5.
God, I can't believe that.
I don't feel like I'm doing it intentionally. I feel like I just did what the game asked me to do.
It's like you got a couple more mon on the random encounters, essentially.
I mean, I think like I have JRPG rules in mind as I'm going through this game, which is like bonk every random enemy in the overworld.
Okay, I'm definitely not doing that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think like
I guess I should.
I've played enough JRPGs that it's like you
got to just get that EXP
instead
when
of
you
grinding, just like hit every enemy.
All right,
no matter how big or little.
I'll do that.
That's it for this leg of Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Elmia. We will be back next week.
Missions 9 through 12.
Let's just take a quick glance at where we're headed.
Okay.
Let me see what we got. We're going to meet Sven, whom we have been introduced to via the newspaper.
Oh, yeah, the newspapers. I was going to post some of those.
I took a screenshot of each one of them,
Instagram, because they look really cool.
Also, what a bad newspaper.
They take up both screens on the DS.
It takes up both screens, and then the headline will just be like, Sven.
It's a rag.
Look.
Oh, yeah. Sven. No punctuation, just Sven.
That's the headline.
Look, cowboy hat.
Sven. So
Sven.
I think we're going to go meet Sven and figure out what he's all about as a beginning point for our next leg.
Where we're going to be top rangers.
Oh, yes. We've already been given the honor of top rangers, haven't we?
Yeah, we're going to be actually part of the union.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
So please, if you're not playing along with us, that's okay. But I kind of hope that these episodes inspire you. Go pick up the carts. They're still fairly cheap on eBay.
Yeah.
And get caught up with us because it's a pretty fun little game. But also pick up your Black and White 2 carts because we're going to be moving on pretty quickly after this game. Please do rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts and do follow it anywhere that you follow podcasts. And do follow us on social media at EXPSharePod on Twitter and Instagram. We put up fun little audiograms. We put up level checks. We interact with you, the community. It's fun.
Yeah, that's my part. Stole it.
I did it.
So you can also find us on Reddit, reddit.com/r/bugcatchers, where that's where we put that spicy stuff like those spinneracks with the big hips.
These sexy spinneracks.
There's some fun memes in there. Very talented community of bug catchers in there. I think 900 members now.
Wow.
So
I didn't even know Reddit had 900 people on it.
I know. These days. And if you also want to support the show, you can buy some merch at expsharemerch.com, which usually works, or it's just on TeePublic if you can't find it.
Yeah, just go search Experience Share on
Yep.
TeePublic. EXP Share. Anything else?
Yeah, maybe I think Happy Holidays? Is that when this comes out?
Happy holidays.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Bugcatchers, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me, Joshua. This has been Experience Share. It's a Pokemon podcast starring me, Tantine, and my co-host, Kranadosh.
That's me.
Bugcatchers, Joshua. Goodbye.
Smell you later.